What's up?
Hi, how are you? Oh, Tarzan! What? Is this our special guest for the evening?
No, yeah, but he's gonna run away because he gets annoyed when he's on camera.
Oh
He's not
no.
camera ready.
Oh my gosh, he looks camera ready. Look at the fluff. Look at the glow. Also, hi Shawn. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Deepa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? How's Tarzan doing?
He's doing good. He yesterday he threw up on my arm because he got car sick.
Oh no. Was that a hard thing to clean up or was it just like a wipe and good to go?
It was pretty gnarly to clean up, to be honest.
Oh God.
But it's like having a baby. So
Hey, he's cute. That's all that matters. And he looks like he's cuddly and lovable. So yeah, hi Tarzan.
hi,
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
So cute. All right, Sean, I just want to share my excitement about this album with you. Like, this album slapped, dude. Like, musically, lyrically, emotionally. I was listening to this album and I cried. I wanted to dance. I wanted to do all of the things. So, how do you feel now that it's out there for everyone to hear and experience? Because to me, it really was an experience.
I feel amazing. I feel so good. It's like birthing a baby into the world, and I've been pregnant with this album baby for like 5 months or 4 months now, and yeah, I feel amazing. I feel so proud of the work and um, the songs in it. There's a couple in particular. Like there's a song called "Song for No One," and there's a song called "I Can't Imagine." And "Monster," I was really excited for people to hear. But yeah, I love this album. It's my favorite album sonically that I've ever made, for sure.
When I listened to it, the first thing that I thought of was like growth in terms of you as a person growing and musically. So obviously your fans could not wait for this album to come out. So what are you most excited for fans to listen to and take away thematically from this album? And do you think that you've opened up a completely different side of Shawn that maybe they've never seen before?
I don't know. I imagine so. I think the interesting thing about making and releasing music is that no matter how relevant, I mean, I'm always with myself, so I always know who I am. But
Mhm.
musically, the last thing people heard from me was "If I Can't Have You," which I wrote over a year ago, year and a half ago. So I'm a completely different person. So I always forget how much I've grown from song to song. So I imagine people are going to be like, "Oh, maybe he went a little further with things that than they were thinking." But yeah, I think thematically, I just wanted people to feel a sense of reflection of the last year and a half, and celebration, because this music to me was so inspired by Frankie Valli in the '60s and the Beatles and the Beach Boys, and
Yes.
I just wanted it to feel like that type of celebration.
No, I definitely felt that vibe throughout the entire album. And I know when it comes to making an album, there's like so much pressure, there's so much work that goes into it. And every album's different in terms of the creation process because you might be in a different headspace. So when it came to this album, what was the biggest challenge that you had to face?
The biggest challenge I had to face, which happened immediately, which was I need to like drop expectations and stresses of if people are going to like this or not. And
Hmm.
I had to free myself from the fear of judgment. And I think once I kind of got over that and I started making music just because I like to make music, I started creating music that I really loved, and I started creating music that felt like it was tapping into another side of me that I haven't kind of found before. And it was the biggest kind of blessing during the process for me.
That's something really important that you mentioned is kind of releasing yourself of that pressure. That was actually literally the next question that I had written, so you answered that. But I want to get into like, how did you get to that point? Because that's a really tough thing to do, just like let go of people's opinions and be like, hey, I'm just doing this for me at this point.
Well, I don't think it just happened. Like I definitely don't I certainly don't think I've just done that. Like I think it's a
Hmm.
constant reminding every day. Like you I mean, for me, there was a moment in January when I went to write an album and I was riddled in anxiety and stress because I wanted people to like it so bad that I felt like I couldn't write a single song. And that was a sign that I needed to reevaluate why I make music. And I make music because I love to make music, not necessarily because it has to be the most popular music in the world. And I can say that out loud, but to believe that is another thing. And to believe that is a real practice. And I really think that when it comes to art, it's completely depends on who's listening.
Hmm.
And when I kind of just let that be, I freed myself to make music that I love. And it was already a success at that point. Moving past that, everything is just cherry on top.
Do you think because you have released that aspect of it, you enjoyed making this album
Oh my
more in
God,
comparison to your other ones?
times 1 million. And I think
Yeah.
it's a lesson for me moving forward that like there is no reason I need that anyone should ever put that much pressure on themselves to make every single person in the world like what you've done.
Hmm.
It's unrealistic and it's unfair, and no one should feel that pressure. And the truth is we make music to make ourselves happy, and if we make one extra person happy, we've already done the job. So yeah, it's been an amazing process in a really weird time, in a really crazy time, in a hard time for people, but it's been a blessing and a silver lining for me.
I want to get into some of the songs on the album. First of all, I want to talk about Always Been You. I love that song. That song hit me in a completely different way because a lot of the times when you're listening to like love songs, you're like, oh yeah, this is great. But what was different about that song? It was so sincere and heartfelt that it actually made me think about my partner. And like I had all these memories flashing through my head when I listened to that song. And I'm like, that's when you know a song is good, is when it hits you personally. So
Yeah,
I want to talk about like some of the memories. Of course, I know the song is about a really special someone, but can you walk us through some of the memories that inspired this song?
that was one of the very first songs I wrote for the album, and that was one of the first things I said to Camila that when just right as we started dating, and I was like, look, like it's always been you. Like this has been about you for as long as I can remember. And when I first met her, not even necessarily, I think the thing, I was always infatuated with having a girlfriend or being in a relationship, but she was always a friend.
Mm-hmm.
She was always the person who would walk up to me and say, hey, how are you? And mean it in a sincere way where she wanted to hear if I was hurting. Um, and so when I say it's always been you, I mean it much deeper than just as someone I'm in a relationship with. You've always been a friend. You've always been there. It's always been you who's had my back. And yeah, I mean, we've known each other since I think I was 16 when I met her, and
Wow.
that's pretty young. And now we're 22, and we have a puppy.
Yes, Tarzan, who made a special appearance. So I kind of want to jump back to the idea of freeing yourself from this notion of pressure. Do you think that love also played a part in that? Like you being in this relationship, just letting go and being like, at the end of the day, I have my partner and I know that we're on the same page with each other and we love each other. So I can just kind of like,
Absolutely.
let go a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, love is like a crazy, I'm not going to underestimate the power of it and the force field that it puts around you. It makes you
Hmm.
feel limitless. And it's like exactly what you said. If everything stops today, I still got you, and it's going to be good, and that's true. That's power, and that's strength, and that's confidence.
That's so sweet. You guys are on the top of my list of like couples that I ship. So happy that like she inspired that song. It was such an amazing song. Now, another song that I loved is Monster. When this collaboration was released, I'm like dreams come true. I've always wanted to see you and Justin work together. So it was surreal for me and a lot of fans, but I imagine that it was also surreal for you because you said multiple times that you've looked up to Justin Bieber since you were like 9 years old. So
Completely.
when you were taking this song to him, were you nervous at all? Like when you first pitched it to him, were you nervous that like, he wouldn't be on the same page with you, but how he was feeling? And were you nervous that he wouldn't want to be part of the project in general?
I don't think I really pitched it to him, though. That's the thing. I think it was more about reaching out as a friend, just to be
Mm.
a friend, and we were just having these amazingly deep conversations for a couple hours. And at some point, I was like, "This, there's a song I wrote that talks about what we just talked about," and I sent it to him, and there was no pressure. It didn't matter. The song wasn't even on the album at that point, and he loved it and resonated, and then he did it. And I think that's when a really magical collaboration happens, is when the pressure is off.
Was there anything in specific that you took away from working with Justin that you can apply to your music or even your personal life?
He has this incredible ability to just remind himself and everyone around him how blessed and how lucky we are. And I think for me as an artist and a celebrity, I sometimes feel like the world revolves around me, and
Hmm.
it's silly, and he it's important to just like bring myself back to down to earth and humble myself and be like, hey, like you get to make songs for a living. You're just playing and you're making art. Like you are so lucky, and you are so, like, this is a dream life. And when I'm around him, I really remember that. And yeah, it sticks with me. I think about that a lot.
Being an artist at your level, that's incredibly hard to do. And I loved In Wonder. That was such an amazing look into this whole other side of your life that people don't necessarily see all the time. And it's obviously emotionally draining to be an artist like yourself. So you're experiencing these like extremely high highs of performing for thousands of people, having them sing your songs to you, and then extreme lows at the same time, like anxiety and loneliness. So how do you kind of stay in the middle? How do you stay grounded between those two levels so you're not like getting too ahead of yourself and you don't feel down about yourself either?
My puppy's crying. Why are you
Oh no,
crying?
Tarzan,
Huh?
am I talking too much?
Oh, Tarzan. That's an amazing question, and really think that the answer lies in the support system around you and people constantly giving you perspective and always having people to bounce your emotions off of. I think the reason things maybe get out of control sometimes is when they get held and pent up, and being able to process those emotions and being able to like release them and not feel guilty about it, and to say I'm exhausted and I'm tired and not feel guilty about it is the most important thing in the world, because
Mhm.
everybody deserves space to feel what they're feeling. Just because the feelings maybe in some ways of looking at it are maybe not fair, and compared to other people's lives not fair, does not mean that they're invalid. And deciding that your feelings are invalid is basically going against yourself and
Right.
saying, look, I don't want to listen to you. And that's hurtful. So being able to have a team that is like, look, man, like I know you're privileged, but like you still allowed to vent, you're still allowed to be tired, like come on, you're human. And that has helped me so much to stay grounded.
There's always a pressure on yourself too, because you know you want to keep giving back to your fans. And I noticed that in the film itself was like, your fans are coming to see you. And I could see that at that moment in Brazil when you weren't able to perform, it was just like, that's tough to deal with. But I'm sure at the end of the day, putting you first is really important as well, and taking care of your mental well-being and your health and all that. So, and your fans obviously do understand that. So before you get on stage, before you hit that stage and sing in front of thousands and thousands of people, what's going through your head at that moment? And are you more focused on like, having fun or putting on a better performance for your fans?
That's a great question. And the I'm gonna be the best right now has gotten me far and done a lot of great shows for me. But the I just love what I do, and this is gonna be fun, and nobody came here to judge. This isn't The Voice. It's taken me farther, and it's made me enjoy my job so much more. And
Yeah.
that I always have a beat before I walk up the stairs underneath the stage, and it's always like, hey, before you walk on that stage, remember that you do this because you love it, not because you need to be praised. So
Hmm.
it's very important for me.
You just got to keep repeating that mantra. Now, my next question for you is goals, ambitions. Like now that your album is released into the world, what's next for you? Do you want to start working on another album? Do you want to go on tour potentially?
All of the above. I think I'm not really penciling anything out, because I think the world is in a big place of confusion and question. And for me, it's I would love to tour this album. I don't know when that's going to happen based off of COVID, and
Yeah.
until that moment, I'll be making music no matter what. It's my thing. I love it.
Obviously fans would be like crazy excited if you went on tour. I know I would be too, but yeah, COVID has just messed a lot of things up, but there will be a time where we can get to experience like your music live. And I think you'd also mentioned too, that's when you really fall in love with your music, is when you're live and you can see people's reaction to it as well. So now I'm actually going to switch gears. As you could tell, it's the holidays. We have our Christmas tree. We have you floating in the background. So I wanted to get to some fun Christmas questions. So intense time of this interview, rapid fire.
Okay.
So we're gonna go through some rapid fire Christmas questions. You gotta answer these as quickly as possible. Try
Got
not
you.
to
All
think
right.
too hard, because I mean some of them are hard, but I'll give you the time that you need. You
Okay.
ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Will we ever get a Shawn Mendes Christmas album?
Yeah, of course.
Drop it next year?
We'll see. Maybe.
Have you been naughty or nice this year?
I hope so. I hope I've been nice.
I hope so too. Stuffing or dressing?
Stuffing or dressing? I don't even know how to answer that, but probably stuffing.
Okay. I asked the same question. So apparently dressing is stuffing. Like, have you heard that term before? It's the same
Never.
thing.
Oh,
Here
never.
we go. Stuffing it is. Eggnog, yes or no?
I've never had eggnog, I don't think.
Me neither. I've never had it. I don't want to try it either.
I mean,
It doesn't sound appetizing. Opening presents on Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day?
stockings on Christmas Eve, presents on day.
Ah, you got a procedure going. Hot cider or hot chocolate?
Hot whatever, hot chocolate with a spike of whiskey.
You're doing your own cross combo. It's all good. Real or fake Christmas tree?
I would love to say real, but I don't. We don't have a real Christmas tree, and that's just the truth.
How long have you had your fake Christmas tree for?
I mean, probably 10 years at least.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
They last forever.
the one in our house. What am I? I'm 25. My parents have had that for like 30 years now, and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
Loses a few bristles here and there, but we're like,
It's
it
like-
looks full.
It becomes better.
Yeah, it does over time. Gift bags or wrapping paper?
Wrapping paper.
Ugly Christmas sweaters or matching PJs?
Matching PJs.
Okay. Eating cookies or baking cookies?
Eating the cookies.
And Christmas shopping already done, or you haven't even started yet?
Christmas shopping is already done.
Really?
Yeah, I'm on that.
Wow. When did you get that done?
I mean, Amazon is a great thing.
Very, very true. Thank you so much for your time, Shawn. This was so much fun, and I'm glad that we got to chat about your album, and I can't wait for the entire world to hear it. So congratulations once again.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you too.